Hey, what's up? I'm Guy.
I'm John.
It's our YouTube channel. Subscribe to this channel. We appreciate it if you like this video.
Also have a podcast. Check it out in the description.
We're proud to be presented by Tito's Handmade Vodka.
Go make yourself a cocktail right now. We love Tito's and sodas.
Crafted to be savored responsibly. This Colts thing affects the Niners. You and I did an NFC West preview a couple of weeks ago. Maybe it was 3 weeks ago now. And one of the things we talked about was the opportunity early for the Niners to get off to a good start. Not just because they played Detroit and Philly early, but also because the other teams in their division have a difficult opening schedule. Well, now Carson Wentz is out 5 to 12 weeks. Turns out so is Quentin Nelson with the same foot injury that Carson has, same surgery. That
How's
doesn't
that even possible?
It's crazy. Apparently, Quentin Nelson's had it since he was a kid, is what Frank Reich said. And I know you said the other day that Wentz, this has been a long-running thing for Wentz, but
I read this probably was dating back to high school.
oh wow. Well, my mom just had an X-ray. She found out she's got a cracked vertebrae. The doctor's like, "How did you crack your vertebrae?" She's like, "I have no idea." When he's like, "It could have happened as a kid." She's like, "Well, I did fall out of a tree when I was 8. Could have been that."
Is there? She have pain?
No. Anyway, this is not ideal for the Niners because I think they were counting on the Colts. I was a little bit to at least pick off from the Niners' perspective one of their two first opponents. The Colts open, John, with the Seahawks at home week 1. And the Rams at home week 2. And now those teams are, in all likelihood, not going to face Carson Wentz. I think we're probably in agreement on this. I think most people watching this, if you've watched enough sports, you know, if they say 5 to 12 weeks on a foot surgery, you're probably going to end up closer to the 12 than the 5. So right now, 5 weeks would put you 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 would be September 7th. 12
He'd
would
be able to make week 1.
Yeah, but 12 would be like beginning of October, probably around the time the Colts, maybe he comes back, a week or two before the Colts play the 49ers.
I will say this about Carson Wentz. I don't look at him the same now that he has the injury, just because of the flow of his comeback. I think it's completely derailed, right? Like I was expecting him to be a solid, compete to be a top 10 quarterback again. But now I don't. Like his foot injury, he's not going to be able to. His rehab, he won't be able to practice. His accuracy was an issue. Like mental reps, he's been fucking taking mental reps for years with his injuries. Like to me, he needed his physical to get his mojo back. I don't find him as scary. Now, like you said, I would rather play Jacob Eason than a Carson Wentz if he's 100%. So yeah, you're not wrong there. But do you agree? Like I don't look at Carson Wentz the same.
I mean, I know he made life hard on the Niners when he played them with a bad Eagles team.
Yeah, he did. To the game-winning touchdown. It's a disadvantage.
I don't think
for the
they
Niners.
can beat you with Eason.
Yeah, they can't. Well, they're going to lose those. If they play Eason, Seattle, and the Rams, like that's
like Eason and
right.
Quentin Nelson. Now,
you're not wrong.
Sorry,
You're
Nelson
not wrong.
out too.
Yeah, I mean you're not. But you agree, like having a good guard, like that matters, but it's not like the quarterback is.
Their team is still pretty good.
It's crazy. Their guard is probably their best player. Like he's like a Madden 99 type.
Buckner, better than Buckner, yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's probably. He's an
best.
all-pro right guard.
Yeah,
probably the best guard in football. Yeah.
So
it would be, to me, if Easton's the starting quarterback for those two games, I would say it's a must-win for both the Rams and Seattle, right? You just have to beat Jacob Eason. You can't lose to Jacob Eason. Just that simple.
Mm-hmm.
But here would be my counter. Jacob Eason might be terrible, so it might not. None of this, it all might be fluff. Week 1s are weird, right? Just you can throw some wrinkles in there. Now, if he's just
Jags beat him last year, week 1.
Yeah. But Phillip, remember, threw a terrible pick. I remember late in the game.
The Jags turned out to be bad.
Yeah, they didn't win it. I don't think they won another game. Maybe they won one more. You could just weird shit can happen. Your quarterback's off, right? Russell learning a new offense. Games in Indy. Because like if you're like 0-4 or 0-5, the fervor in that place is not the same. At least week 1, you're like, we're 0-0. Come on, Jacob, save our season. Because as someone was texting me in the league, the key is, can Eason just get them to like 3-3? Just keep their head above water. Like if you're 1-5 in the AFC, you're done. But if he can just win one, lose one, win one, lose one, win one, lose one, which I know their schedule does not look like that's possible. it would be a pretty remarkable. Honestly,
Well, it would be, John, because their schedule
if
is.
Frank's able to get Jacob Eason playing good football, that's an incredible accomplishment.
It is. I don't expect Eason to give them much. If I were them, I'd try to find another quarterback. But I do understand if I get it, as much as I hate to say it. Like you always say, these are humans. Like if Wentz is going to be back 6 weeks into the season, are you setting him up to not be a great teammate and quarterback if you bring Nick Foles into that locker room? I know you could say put your big boy pants on, but this is what you have now.
I heard when I was driving down to Niner practice, Coward's opening rant was he had an epiphany yesterday. If we're 7 years in and we're consumed with Carson Wentz's feelings at this point, like
it's
you
fair.
have the wrong guy.
I understand.
My counter to Colin would be, yeah, but you're just in bed with this guy.
That's exactly
like,
right.
It's what you chose, so
he's not wrong, but just this is your situation now. So are you trying to make it work or not? Because you do, but you got him because you think you can resurrect him and he can be your quarterback for 6 more years.
Because I don't think it would be unfair, let's say, to trade a 4th-round pick for Marcus Mariota and just be like, Carson, when you come back, you'll be ready, but we needed someone else. Like, you can't be mad. The Foles thing is a different animal.
It is. Quick interruption to tell you to click on DraftKings in the description and use the promo code HAM.
And if you want some meat, butcherbox.com/ham down below. Free lobster tails and ribeyes.
It is.
And even Nick alluded to kind of being like, he said it without saying it, like, yeah, me and Carson are not that tight. We don't really like each other.
Carson wanted him out of Philly.
Career. Yeah. We don't like each other. Come get me, Frank.
Yeah. And I think Frank's interested.
You could derail your locker room.
Again, if Carson was... If you were Philly, you would do it. But they just acquired Carson because they think they can resurrect him, buy low on a quarterback with elite skills. So in theory, I agree with Colin. He's right. It's a problem. Carson's flawed. But this is who you got.
Well, you're already in with him for a 3rd and a 2nd. Worst case, right? Or I guess best case. But
yeah, best case is worst case, yeah.
Yeah. So you're in for a 3rd and a 2nd. Guaranteed. You just gave a 3rd. You're in for a 2nd next year. Do you want to keep chasing the investment? Like, because if I'm the Raiders, it's okay. Yeah, I somehow got Mariota to go for $3 million. It's still kind of baffling. Like, he makes the same as Trubisky. I think he's better. But I give the Raiders credit. They did. Well, if Derek gets hurt, we need a backup plan. So we're not just going to give him to you for like a 6th. You guys are desperate, like conditional 3rd or something. And if you're the Colts, you're like, we can't just keep chasing this quarterback and not actually getting anything. Right? It'd be one thing if like, we just traded for our Josh Allen or our Lamar Jackson. But that's not really what they're doing. I think they had hoped. I mean, let's face it with Carson. They had hoped to buy a $5 million house for about 1.8. But then immediately they're in it. They're like, oh, shit, the termites are back. Because that's what they were thinking, right? They thought low buy, but we could hit a home run. Yeah. And the reality is with that investment strategy in football, stock market, and homes, I think a lot of times you're paying the price for a reason. Like you got him Matt Stafford went for 2 fucking ones. Now, obviously Matt was better than Carson, but that shows you how far Carson's. And in fairness, like that was his legit value. No one was trading for him. There was a reason.
Yeah. Well, part of the question then is if you're the Colts and you're in this situation, does this make you change how you look at Carson? Like, did before he was hurt, you think there's a chance that he's our future quarterback, and now that he's hurt, do you think, oh no, maybe this is just more the same with him, and now we can't acquire the guy we want to acquire because we're afraid of Carson? I don't think that's enough for them. Like, I still think they've got to look at it long term with him.
You mean to get like their Trey Lance?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. For them to go like, you know what?
Never played a preseason game.
Forget this. They like Trey. I still think they have to look at it long term with Carson. I said when he went down, they cannot roll out with Eason. They can't do it. But I do understand if they're still looking at it long-term with Carson, like we still believe long-term we could fix him, why you can't go, bring in another guy that thinks he's a starting quarterback. But they go Seattle, the Rams week 1, week 2 at home, at Tennessee, at Miami, at Baltimore. Then they play Houston, then they got the Niners, Tennessee again. So are they 1 win through 8 weeks of the season? Probably not. They're probably a better team than that, because they should be able to run the ball. But, man.
Well, if they had Carson Wentz and they were, let's say, 4-2 in that start, we'd be like, this team's a powerhouse, right?
Yeah. They got a shot. Can you bring Minshew in? Carson.
Bill Walsh. I saw on YouTube, Bill Walsh, don't chase mistakes.
Yeah, but again,
Maybe just
Are
eat
you?
it.
Do you?
Is this your chance to get in the top 5?
I think you kind of eat it in part because you are not giving this Carson thing a chance if you go get Nick Foles.
Yeah, you can't cut Carson. He's $20 million dead cap. So this year their dead cap for Carson, I looked at it yesterday, $47 million. So obviously you're not cutting him.
Okay.
Next year still, I think 20. So it's enough where it's like you're not just going to cut him for $20 million. You're kind of in bed.
And you got him because you think you could build something with him. You do think that.
What if your team just tank the season? That's hard to do.
I don't know. They might be too good to do that.
Yeah, they are.
Too talented at other spots.